Good evening, Liz, and welcome to the Jupiter Control Center. Yes, so tonight we are going to deliver our 21st Vega, and we will have on board two main passengers. THEOS-2 for Thailand. It is a satellite which has been manufactured by Airbus. And we have Formosat 7 Triton for the Taiwan Space Agency.
What makes this mission so special?
This is exactly that. What makes this mission special is the fact that we have two main passengers, but also 10 auxiliary passengers. 6 of them are for the European Commission. And if we are able to deliver this very complex mission, it's because Vega is very versatile, and it's due to our system, which is called the SSMS system, which has flown for the first time 3 years ago in September 2020.
And so, last but not least, could you share with us the main milestones to look out for tonight?
Definitely. So we are now a few minutes before liftoff. We need the satellites to be ready. They are ready. We need the launcher to be ready, and the launcher is ready. And we need the weather to be with us, and the weather is also green tonight. So we are going to lift off at 10:36. We will have the separation of the two main passengers after 53 minutes, and after 1 hour and 43 minutes, we will have the separation of the 10 auxiliary passengers.
Thank you so much, Stéphane, and good luck for tonight. And we'll be speaking to you shortly after separation of our main passengers.
Thank you, Liz.
So you heard it from Stéphane. We're all set for tonight's launch. The teams in Jupiter are now focusing on final preparations ahead of liftoff. You can see them right behind Stéphane. Tell us, Samuel, take us through the key events that we can expect during tonight's mission.
Yes, so first, Vega lift will take place from the GUIANA Space Center in South America towards north. It will be triggered by the ignition of the P-80, which is the first solid stage of the Vega launcher. It will burn for about 2 minutes, and then a separation command will be sent to cut out the stage and separate it. This will be followed by the ignition of the second stage, THEOS-23, which will take over from the P-80 and continue increasing the launcher speed. It will then be separated, and this time it is the THEOS-9 that will provide the launcher thrust. The THEOS-9 will operate for almost 3 minutes, and during this phase we'll separate the fairing, which was protecting the satellites across the atmosphere. Then the third stage, the THEOS-9, will be separated. And next comes an important step, the first ignition of the upper stage, the AVUM, which is a rather special stage because it uses liquid propellants. It will be shut down about 7 minutes later, and we will have then a long phase known as the ballistic phase, which will lead us over Australia, where we will carry out the second ignition of the AVUM. Shortly after, we'll separate simultaneously THEOS-2 and Formosat 7R, and at the same time, as you see. Then we'll reignite the AVUM upper stage for the third time to reduce the orbit altitude. And after this burn, we'll wait for another ballistic phase to take us over Cuba, where we can have the fourth ignition of the AVUM and the separation of the CubeSats.
Thank you. Thank you so much for all of that. Super clear. Liftoff scheduled in just over 15 minutes' time. We'll be hearing all the major milestones of tonight's mission that Samuel has just been telling us about. We'll be hearing them from the mouth of the Range Operations Manager, or the DDO, as we call him in KOUROU. Tonight it's Axel Serge, and next to him is tonight's Mission Director, Bruno Hérin. And our two main passengers are due to separate simultaneously, as Samuel was telling us, some 54 minutes after the launch, while our CubeSats will be released 50 minutes later. So let's take a closer look at one of our two main passengers, Triton.
satellite.
Operating the THEOS-1 satellite for around 15 years, Thailand decided to renew its partnership with Airbus with the THEOS-2 program. THEOS-2 is a very compact satellite providing images with a 50 centimeter resolution. The satellite is also very agile, meaning it can take many pictures over a large area.
THEOS-2 will capture very high-resolution images of the Earth's surface with great detail and accuracy. These images provide invaluable data for a wide range of applications, from agriculture and forestry management to disaster response and urban planning. In daily life, data allows for a precise and thematic mapping of cities. In crisis situations, the satellite can deliver real-time images to respond to climate emergencies in high-risk areas.
This achievement results from a 5-year collaboration between GISA and Airbus. THEOS-2 represents the next big leap in Thailand Earth observation capabilities with endless possibilities. THEOS-2 opens the door to promising business partners, both local and global scale. We look forward to the positive impacts of this very high resolution satellite for our communities, environment, and the entire world.
In an era marked by environmental challenges, Thailand, with its partner of choice Airbus, demonstrates how international collaboration can help to address global issues. THEOS-2 will help strengthen Thailand's national space industry and economy, making the nation one of the few in the world with sovereign access to very high-resolution geostrategic information.
And as we were saying, below our main passengers are 10 CubeSats, which will be released about 50 minutes after THEOS-2 and Triton, thanks to a specifically designed dispenser called SSMS, as Stéphane was telling us. SSMS is able to accommodate pretty much any combination of passengers. Isn't that right, Samuel?
Yes, correct, exactly. SSMS stands for Small Spacecraft Mission Service. It's a dispenser system which is really flexible. It was already flown on several Vega missions. The first one was mentioned by Stéphane in 2020 with 53 satellites on board, which were launched at the same time for this proof of concept flight. Then in 2021, we had an hexagonal module supporting a main passenger and carrying also auxiliary passengers. And today, this time, we have 2 satellites on the upper platform and 4 CubeSat deployers on the hexagonal module.
And 6 of our CubeSats were deployed as part of the European Space Agency's in-orbit demonstration and validation program. Let's check it out. And in addition to the 6 IOV CubeSats already mentioned in the movie there are 4 more on board. Samuel, you can tell us a little bit more about them.
Yes, of course. So there is NES first for CNES, the French Space Agency, with a demonstrator to detect and localize interfering emissions on the Earth. Then there is PRETI for Graz University in Austria. Then MAXSAT for OQ Technology in Luxembourg. And finally, we have PVCC for Aerospace Lab and ESA. And these CubeSats embark a wide range of payloads or demonstrators.
Mm-hmm. And on the ground in Kourou, the teams are really hard at work as we prepare for liftoff. And very near to the actual Vega launch pad is the Vega Launch Center. You could just see before Jupiter Mission Control. And here we are in the Vega Launch Center, the so-called CDL. It's a bit like a cockpit on the ground, right?
Yes, exactly. There are several teams in Guyana. In fact, they are the one in Jupiter building, which is kind of the control tower of the Guyana Space Center. And you have the Vega Launch Center on the screen. screen here. So it's a building called Pandora, and it's located in the Centre Technique, very close to Jupiter, in fact. Inside this building, you can find all the launcher and launch complex operations teams, as well as the technical authorities. And this team, as you see, manage and monitor all the last-minute operations leading to the launch up to the very last second.
So here you go. You see the teams hard at work, and we're going to be hearing in the next few seconds one of the very important milestones of tonight's mission. That's the start of the synchronized sequence.
Attention pour la séquence finale, lanceur.
There we go.
Top à 0 moins 4 minutes.
Here we have it. -4 to liftoff. We've just heard the DDO announce the start of the synchronized sequence. What does it mean, Samuel?
It's a very important step because it marks the start of the final phase that will prepare for takeoff and gradually give the launcher full autonomy to proceed with the liftoff. So it includes several sub-steps, such as the loading of the takeoff time and the flight program software inside the launcher onboard computer. At the end of this synchronized sequence, the launcher is completely autonomous to carry out the final operations to the liftoff.
And we can see it here on the launch pad, but the first parts arrived in KOUROU back in June.
Yes, back in June by sea, as you've seen on the screen, at the port of KOUROU, and were then transported by road to the Space Center. Then the PAT first stage, as you see on the screen, arrives on the launch pad. It's hoisted and integrated into the mobile gantry. Then we have the second stage, THEOS-2, which is lifted and assembled on the PAT. And step by step, we are building an assembly of solid rocket boosters with the THEOS-9 last step coming on top of THEOS-2. Finally, it's the AVUM upper stage, which arrives in a container, and it's integrated on top of the THEOS-9 stage. As for the satellites, THEOS-2 arrived by plane in August and was prepared in special facilities, clean rooms with a very controlled atmosphere. And there were a number of operations that were carried out in autonomy. Then THEOS was integrated onto its adapter and filled with propellants. You can see the special suits we have used. For Formosat, it arrived in Guyana by plane in July, and it followed a similar path with preparation, integration onto its adapter, and propellant filling. The CubeSat deployer were integrated on the hexagonal module below the platform. We had, as we said, 4 deployers mounted for this mission. Then Formosat 7R and THEOS-2 were integrated on top on the SMS upper platform. Once the assembly was complete, it was enveloped in the fairing, which protects the satellites for the next phase of the mission. The upper composite was then transferred to the launch zone on a mobile platform and hoisted on the top of the launcher. Then, once the launcher is ready, we remove the mobile gantry and we have the launcher ready for flight.
And there we see it, standing tall with passengers big and small, safe under the fairing. In a few seconds, the DDO is going to announce the 1-minute mark ahead of...
À tous de DDO, attention pour moins une minute. Top à 0 moins 1 minute. À tous de DDO, attention pour le décompte final. À tous de DDO, arrêt du temps des comptes suite à un rouge, autorisation de lancement. La chronologie est définitivement arrêtée pour aujourd'hui. que tous les moyens restent activés pour une mise en configuration d'arrêt de la base de lancement.
Stay tuned, and we'll let you know shortly whether we'll be hearing from Stefan right away. Otherwise, of course, as soon as we have news, we'll be giving it to you on our social media platforms. So stay with us for now. We'll be back shortly. So we're back with you. So just a quick reminder, there has been a red, which means, of course, that we cannot launch tonight. Again, as I was saying, no risk for our passengers. They are safe and sound, as you can see, under the fairing of our launcher, which is on the pad. Samuel, as we were saying, of course, the red is actually good news for our passengers because it means we're taking zero risks, right?
Yes, exactly. We prefer avoiding any launch attempt in case there is any failure of any mean necessary to make the launch. So here, apparently, it's on the launch base, so it's better avoiding an attempt tonight.
Yeah, and it's one of the ones that's the most difficult to explain. A weather red is easier because we can say, well, risk of lightning. Here, we actually don't have the precise information as to what the reason might be, so do stay connected on our social media platforms. We will be giving you any news we have as soon as we have it, and of course we'll be keeping you informed on a new launch date for our Vega mission VV23, so stay tuned. We're going to now be handing back for now, wishing you a great evening for what's left of it, and hopefully see you again soon. Bye-bye, Samuel.
See you soon. Bye-bye.
Goodbye to all of you, and thank you for being with us live here tonight.